Want to bowl in the nude? Well, Balls Out Bowling is back, baby. A 70-year-old man has eaten over 34,000 Big Macs in his lifetime. And in Norway, almost 1 million people are addicted to nasal sprays. These are the weird stories for Tuesday on the Weird AF News Podcast, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian inside a closet. There it is. There we are. Naked bowling is an event taking place in Pittsburgh. Nudity is required. They're calling it Balls Out Bowling, and apparently it's back for the ultimate naked bowling experience. Now, I've been to a lot of bowling alleys. I've had some bowling experiences. I was raised on a very particular form of bowling called candlepin bowling, which is something that you find in New England. It's different in the regular bowling in that the pins are very, very skinny and the ball is small. It's about the size of a grapefruit. I like bowling in all of its forms. I've even done lawn bowling before. I made a video about that on my YouTube. It's at Funny Jones. I say all this to say that I have some bowling experience, and I'm wondering because the people that I see during my bowling experiences, I don't think would look good naked. That's just, now I'm not trying to be prejudiced here against regular bowlers, but they don't look like the kind of people you want to see with no clothes on. But this sounds like it could be a lot of fun. It's being held by Pittsburgh area naturalists. They are hosting this event called Balls Out Bowling, where you can show up and bowl in the nude. It's going to be held at the Crafton Ingram Lanes in Pittsburgh next month. The event is for anyone over the age of 18 who wants to bowl naked. Nudity is required, of course, at the nude bowling experience, with the exception that women apparently can wear bottoms. So the women can wear some bottoms. They say sexual activity is not permitted at the Balls Out Bowling event. No sexual activity, but I don't know, would you consider polishing some balls a sexual activity? The people running the event say that nudism does not equal consent and harassment. Well, hold on. I think they put an extra not in here. I think what they meant to say was nudism does not equal consent and harassment will not be taken lightly. Violators of this will be asked to leave. So don't think you can show up at the Balls Out Bowling event and do anything weird. All right? You gotta conduct yourself with respect, and no photography or video is allowed either. I'm wondering if they still require shoes during the bowling event. All naked, but the bowling shoes. You have to bowl with those shoes. It's pretty important. It's going to look pretty absurd, though, being completely naked but having bowling shoes on. In fact, having just the shoes on kind of makes you look more naked. It makes you look like you're naked on purpose, really. And you can run around naked. A naked person with shoes, you're like, oh, you're naked, and you can also move really fast with those shoes on. All right, I'm going into some strange places here. All right, I just went to the event page to learn a little bit more about Balls Out Naked Bowling. It's going to take place Sunday, April 28th, right after church. It's going to be at the Crafton Ingram Lanes in Pittsburgh. The hours are 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., so they're doing it's kind of an early night here. I guess naturalists need to get to bed early. Or maybe that leaves them time to get to the post Balls Out Naked Bowling orgy that they no doubt will be having, right? It says here the tickets are $25. It says, get ready to get naked and have a blast at Balls Out Bowling, the ultimate naked bowling experience. Balls Out Bowling is for anyone who loves to have fun and show off their skills in the buff. Join us for an unforgettable night of bowling, music, and some good times. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a beginner, this event is perfect for you. You'll be able to bowl your heart out with friends and strangers alike. But this isn't just any ordinary bowling night. We'll have music blasting, drinks flowing. There will be prizes to be won. So grab your friends. Yeah, grab your friends. Put on your bowling shoes and get ready to go balls out. Of course, nudity is required, with the exception that women can wear bottoms. Please bring a towel. I suppose that's for the plastic bowling seats that everybody sits on. You want to have a towel down there. You don't want to leave streaks, I'd imagine. Now, I'm wondering if this is the right nude sporting event. Let's just unpack this a little bit. It's just because, I don't know. When you're bowling, you sort of contort your body in some strange places that just may not look very appetizing on a naked person. Just putting that out there. Although, I don't know, maybe people enjoy that. Great form, Greg. A nice anal cavity. Because you're going to see everything. People are bending over when they're releasing that ball. Now, when I was reading this article, I was wondering to myself, what other nude sporting events are there out there in the world? I did a quick little Google. I found this article called 5 Nude Sporting Events Around the World. The first one here is called Hadaka Matsuri. It's a well-known naked celebration in Japan. It takes place on the 3rd Saturday of February every year at a temple in Okayama. In this 500-year-old ritual, more than 9,000 men and boys sprint to a shrine while wearing nothing but white loincloths. Oh, yeah, this is that naked event I believe I covered last month. There's also here the Maslin Beach Nude Olympics. First began in 1983. This is in Australia. There's about 500 competitors every year competing in events including the sack race, 3-legged race, tug-of-war, frisbee throwing, and best bum contest. We also have here the naked snow sledding competition. This sledding contest in the town of Altenburg, eastern Germany, is a topless imitation of a winter sport. The annual event, which is put on by a radio station, includes 13 men and 12 women competing for the title of Nachtradmeister, or what's known as Champion of the Nude Sledding. Oh, there's also a big cash prize of $1,000. They also have the World Naked Bike Ride. Since 2004, naked bike riders have been taking over city streets from London to Paris to Washington, D.C. It is all coordinated under the World Naked Bike Ride banner to promote and increase awareness of alternative modes of transportation to harmful greenhouse gas emissions. So sounds like a fun event and for a good cause as well. These are some of the naked sporting events around the world. I haven't participated in any of these. Maybe I should. Have any of you participated in any of these nude events? I'd love to hear from you and your experience. Call the show, 646-450-2012. Get naked. Get bowling. Meet the man who's consumed over 34,000 Big Macs and counting. We have this Wisconsin man. He has the world record of eating McDonald's Big Macs in a lifetime. Just this past week, he passed 34,000 Big Macs. This guy's like the LeBron James of Big Macers. His name is Don Gorski. He's a 70-year-old retired prison officer. He ate his first Big Mac in 1972 and has since been obsessed with the iconic McDonald's burger by eating 34,128 of them total for over a half a century here, according to the Guinness Book of World Records. He first achieved the actual record in 1999. He's kept the record all this time. Here's a quote from Don Gorski. This guy's a maniac. Have we checked his blood pressure? I'm concerned. Don says, quote, "Many people thought I'd been dead by now, but instead I've been a record holder for my 24th year. So proud. One of Guinness World Records' longest running record holders. Yeah, I'm proud of that. That's pretty cool to me." Wow, it's like a miracle that this guy hasn't just keeled over, huh? 70 years old, still going, eating what, like 2 Big Macs a day for 50 years? How? How, bro? He must do yoga, I'd imagine. Life is so unfair. Like, I've known healthy people. They don't smoke, they eat right, and they just die suddenly. And then there's these people that smoke every day, they eat terrible, and then they just somehow keep going. It's crazy. Now, this guy Don's been eating the Big Macs since May 17th, 1972. That was when he had his first Big Mac, apparently. He says, quote, "In that moment, I told myself, I'm going to probably eat these things for the rest of my life. I threw the cartons in the back seat, and then I started counting them. I started counting these Big Macs from day one. And Don has, since that fateful day, eaten Big Macs, tons of them. He's collected every container and receipt from all of his Big Mac purchases. Where do you put all these containers, Don? Does he have like a storage unit of just Big Mac containers and receipts? It's unbelievable. Now, it says here, Don even has a wife. Wow, this woman's very tolerant to a particular lifestyle. Can you imagine living with a man that eats Big Macs all day, every day? He probably smells like a Big Mac. Wow, this woman's amazing. I'm going to McDonald's. Will you want anything, honey? Again? Yep. 50 years and counting, honey. Now, apparently, Don actually proposed to his wife in a McDonald's parking lot. That seems appropriate. She's been very supportive of her husband's Big Mac passion. Don says, quote, "My wife has put up with a lot of obsessive compulsive things that I do and hasn't let my Big Mac thing get to her at all." Yeah, but I'd imagine you can't store all the cartons in the house, though. She probably draws the line there. I would love to know where these cartons are. Does he have a shed out back? Now, in case you're curious, as I am, to some of other Don's lifestyle characteristics, it says here Don walks 6 miles a day to help keep that physique. In addition to eating fewer Big Macs a day to be a little bit healthier, he doesn't eat breakfast at all, and he does not eat any of McDonald's fries. All right. Yeah, those fries aren't very good for you, I'd imagine, but I don't think the Big Macs are either. Don says that he may have an evening snack sometimes, such as a fruit bar, ice cream, or potato chips, but mostly his diet consists of eating the Big Macs. Here's another quote from Don, who's very proud of his physique. He says, "I'm healthy as a horse, man. I weigh 190 pounds and my cholesterol is 165. You know, I'm better than normal." Now, apparently the local McDonald's that Don has eaten most of his Big Macs at have even put up a sign commemorating Mr. Gorski's 50th anniversary. It was later posted to the Guinness World Records website as well. It says, "Congrats, Don, on 50 years of Macs." Now, when asked if he'll ever retire from eating these Big Macs, Don replied, "Well, I don't think so. When I like something, I stick with it all the time." Yeah, I think Don has something called obsessive-compulsive disorder, but that's fine. It's led to this amazing record, which I doubt will ever be broken, especially seeing as the price of Big Macs seems to go up every year as well. I am wondering, though, on a physiological standpoint, how we're really doing in that body of his. Because if your cells get replaced over time gradually, and all you're eating are Big Macs, you're only putting Big Macs in your body. Eventually, your body is just made up completely of Big Mac-produced cells, right? I am become Big Mac. More Big Mac. Me, Big Mac man. I can see a movie about this guy, huh? Okay, it also says here, since he retired from his prison job, Don doesn't drive himself to McDonald's every day. Instead, he buys Big Macs in large batches about twice a week. It says here, Don will eat a fresh Big Mac when he picks up his order, and then will microwave the rest at home when he's hungry. Oh, Don's very committed. He's not even eating them fresh. He's eating microwaved Big Macs, which I can't imagine are that great. There's some foods that just are not okay microwaved. I think the burgers from these fast food places fall into that category. Pizza, yeah, you can microwave some pizza, throw them in the oven. The burgers, though, I'm not sure, but Don does it. Doesn't eat much else either, it says. It says Don even tried a Whopper from Burger King once in 1984, and he decided, nah, gonna remain loyal to the burger from the Golden Arches. Yay! In Norway, many people are addicted to nasal sprays. Norway is apparently facing an unexpected health crisis, as a staggering 700,000 people have found themselves tangled in the grip of addiction, not to any illegal substances. Instead, they're addicted to over-the-counter nasal sprays, a common remedy for nasal congestion. As per the Norwegian Institute of Public Health, the sales of over-the-counter nasal sprays have exhibited a consistent upward trend in recent years. In 2022 alone, the total number of packs sold for mucosa decongestant nasal spray reached a notable 9 million. This addiction, they say, is very expensive and disruptive for individuals such as Gula, a 22-year-old who has shared her struggles on social media. She describes a claustrophobic, suffocating feeling if she fails to use the nasal spray consistently throughout the day and night. The damage done to her mucous membranes means she is actually unable to breathe properly without constant relief from these nasal sprays. Oh yes, this is nothing new. I've met several people that have inculcated the nasal spray into their lifestyle on a daily basis. It seems to me that they can't even breathe without it. I don't know how this comes about. In the story here, we have a physician named Sverre Steinsvåg. Sverre Steinsvåg works at a hospital in southern Norway. And Sverre Steinsvåg has been paying close attention to this recent phenomenon. He has researched the effects of nasal sprays and why people are becoming addicted to these. It says here, in addition to what seems to be a problem in Norway, there are doctors in the U.S. that are also concerned. They estimate that the number of people that might be addicted to nasal sprays in America approaches the 10 million mark. According to physicians across the world, they are criticizing the nasal spray industry for taking advantage of their addicted nature in order to keep business booming, as it is a, quote, well-regarded fact that chemical nasal sprays can be as addictive as morphine, they say. The other problem is most of these nasal sprays can be purchased without a prescription, and this makes it difficult to record how many people are actually buying them and how many people are actually addicted to them. It does say here that the popularity of ththese nasal sprays has even prompted questions about the reasons behind their addictive nature. The active ingredients, oxymetazoline or xylometazoline, I don't know, did I say that right? Probably not. Anyways, these ingredients attack mucous membranes, slowing down the blood supply. Acting as topical decongestants and vasoconstrictor medications, they cause the nasal tissues to shrink, reducing swelling and congestion. They provide quick relief for nasal congestion associated with conditions such as colds or allergies. However, symptoms return after a few hours when the blood supply reaches the nasal membranes once again, causing them to swell. So unfortunately, rather than treat the underlying causes of such nasal congestion, these sprays only mask the symptoms for a short period, hence causing a reliability on them to simply breathe. So it doesn't sound like an addiction so much as it's a real dependence, especially if you can't breathe. Then you got to get a prescription for breathing. But I got a 3-month subscription for breathing. I'm going to have to re-up that because I probably want to continue breathing for the rest of my years. So sad. Now, it also says Sverre Steinsvåg's research warns against the prolonged use of mucosal decongestant nasal sprays because of the risk of rebound congestion. This phenomenon occurs when nasal passages become more congested when the medication is discontinued. If the spray is used every day for more than 10 consecutive days, an inflammation of the nasal mucosa will occur and the user will become dependent. Professor Steinsvåg and his team are conducting a study with 200 Norwegian patients to compare the effects of saline nasal sprays with a hypertonic solution from seawater that will reduce the swelling of the nasal mucosa. The objective is to provide patients with a withdrawal process that is more manageable than saline sprays that have those other chemicals in it. Well, it sounds like they have a plan, at least, to address this in Norway. In the U.S., they'll just arrest you. That's how we handle addictions here. Are you on drugs? Put him in jail. So stupid. You're sick, man. You need help. You're addicted. Nah, man. I just really enjoy breathing through my nose. Well, I'm not surprised to learn about this nasal spray addiction situation. In Western medicine, doctors are in such a hurry to get you in and out of the office. They often don't really get to the bottom of the the health issue that you have. They just sort of write you a quick prescription so you can go mask the symptoms and get some short-term relief. But in the long term, you really got to find out what's going on in there, why can't you breathe, and fix that issue. Otherwise, the fallout of this is you just become addicted to nasal sprays, and can't have that. And obviously in this country, it seems to be an epidemic. But I think if we were to dig deeper into the numbers, we would find more and more people all over the world are addicted to these nasal sprays. And they're kind of, I got to admit, I like them sometimes, man. You ever been in a party and the guy next to you's got that nasal spray? You're like, hey, man, give me a hit of that, man. I didn't know this was going to be that kind of party. I'll trade you an Adderall for 10 hits out of your nasal spray. Come on, man. Hey, what's up, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast? Thank you for spending some time with me in this episode. I want to let everybody know that I'm grateful for your time, and I appreciate all the emails and messages I've gotten. Someone even bought me some coffees off my website, weirdafnews.com. Addie Anderson bought coffees. Addie joined the Patreon a couple days ago. Now Addie, she's buying me coffees too, guys. I mean, unbelievable supporter of Weird AF News. Does it get any better than that? Addie Anderson bought me some coffees and wrote me a lovely note. It says, Jonesy, I've been listening for years as part of my morning routine as I do my makeup. I didn't even think about the fact that you would shout me out in the podcast when I joined the Patreon. But when you did, the dopamine hit was awesome. So here is some dopamine for you. Enjoy. P.S. No one ever says my name right, so thank you. And I'm female. Bonus points for you, Jonesy, for your use of gender-neutral terms, though. And then she wrote me, she had a nice little emoji with hearts. Oh, so sweet. This really made me happy. Thank you so much, Addie Anderson, for joining the Patreon and then buying me coffees as well as a follow-up and leaving me this lovely note. I mean, that just made me smile. You guys can buy me coffees like Addie Anderson did. You can join the Patreon, as she has done as well, by going to weirdafnews.com. You can do all of those things on the homepage. Click on the little coffee cup. There's a coffee cup banner on the homepage. There's a Patreon one too. And there's a PayPal button there. It's like a PayPal symbol. You can click on that and you can give Jonesy a donation if you want to contribute to the in-closet production that we have going on over here in Los Angeles. Anyways, I'm just very, very grateful for all the support. Another way you can support the show if you don't have any extra funds is just tell a friend. Tell a friend about the Weird AF News podcast. Somebody that you think that this weird news might bring something to their life. Maybe they listen to the mainstream news every day and it makes them sad. And then you're like, hey, man, you can finish up your news lineup with the Weird AF News podcast, which doesn't make you feel so sad. In fact, you might laugh a few times. If anything, you can appreciate the weird news that Jonesy curates from all around the world. And on Friday, it's only weird news from Florida, and everybody loves that, right? It's fun to make fun of Florida for an afternoon, I think. Anyways, that's about the end of my due diligence. If you guys would like to call the show, the number is 646-450-2012. If you want to email me some articles that you've come across that you think are very weird and very appropriate for the podcast, feel free to do so. funnyjones@gmail.com. Also, if you're going to send me something, please say hello. Introduce yourself. Tell me where you live. I love to learn about my listeners. Where are they? How did you find the podcast? I'm very curious, and I love to interact with my listeners as well, as many of you know, because many of you have messaged me. Anyways, I appreciate you, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck with your life, man.